Hi everybody. Thank you for proctoring AP and IB exams. This is a quick video on IB program examinations and how to proctor. You are a secondary and in some cases even a third or a fourth proctor in this room. Therefore, your job is really just to be there. Most of the important things, if not all of them, will be taken care of by the primary proctor. But for due diligence, you're being trained by watching this video. So you've received this document in an email. I'm going to ask that you skip along on this document to about page 15. There's a lot of information here, but none of it you need to worry about. You'll see that I've highlighted some things in this document for you to pay attention to. It could be, as 5.4 says, that you'll be asked to distribute some exam materials. Just do what your primary proctor asks you to do. On the next page, calculator guidance you don't need to worry about. I will make sure that they have the prescribed calculators before they enter the room if the test requires a calculator. You can have your phone on you. I ask that it remain on silent so it doesn't disturb the candidates, but if you're in that room without another a lead proctor, you might need to call someone. You'll have my phone number, and you are certainly welcome to call me if you have an issue, though in many cases either I or Chris will be in the room. On page 17, this is kind of a no-brainer, but if you see someone trying to take exam material out of the room, that is a no-no. On down the page, you'll need to keep a seating chart. This might be the funnest thing you get to do today, but keeping a seating chart is critical for the exam. They will be mixed up in the exam room every time they sit, so you'll make a new seating chart for every paper that students engage in. They're supposed to be 1.5 meters apart. This will be taken care of before you get in the room. If for some reason you see that two kids are too close together for whatever reason, you'll want to notify the primary proctor. Make sure there are no distractions. So your phone is a big deal. Loud whispering is a big deal. It should be as quiet as possible in the room. You will hear bells on occasion, but you should not hear any announcements. If you go on to page 18, this is getting more to what you should be looking out for. Personal belongings of students cannot be used in the exam. So if they have a backpack, you need to put that backpack at the back of the room. You need to make sure their cell phones are not on their person, they're in their backpacks and they're switched off. Candidates will come in the examination about 10 minutes before. Directions, as you'll see, are going to be pretty short, so they'll begin on time. Once the kids have come in the exam room, the exam is started, so that they need to be quiet. So you can remind them of that. They can have a container with pencils and pens and that kind of thing. Ideally, it's a transparent container, but if you see a transparent or a non-transparent or opaque container, it is your responsibility to look through it to make sure they don't have any cheat sheets or anything like that. Kids can have rulers, they can have pens and pencils, they can have geometry instruments such as protractors, so don't worry about that. Please know, though, that the vast majority of IB exams are written in pen with blue or black ink. Pencils should not be used with the exception of graph paper. If they make a mistake, we make sure they don't use whiteout. I'll tell them, but you never know. All they're supposed to do is cross out their mistakes, as this area right here says. They can have a lucky charm, and some choose to use one. It's fine to put that on their desk. Just can't have anything written on it. And they can't have water. I ask that they put their water on the floor next to their desk as opposed to on their desk in case it does spill. So starting the examination, part of your job walking around the room, if you can't read their handwriting, there's nothing wrong with whispering in their ear, asking them to try to shore up that handwriting. You will also want to write the start and stop times on the board. One thing that you may need to do, there are some structured and semi-structured exams that have a box where students are supposed to write their answers. If they run out of space, they can't write outside the box. What they have to do is use some lined paper that they have provided to continue their answer on that lined paper. So I just suggest reading this area right here in detail so you'll know what to do if that does happen. Like I said, though, you're a secondary proctor, so somebody else will be able to answer that question if need be. Ask that you give your whole attention to the exam, so you're not grading papers in the back or working on your computer or Snapchatting or whatever you're doing. Ideally, one of you is walking around while the other is seated at the back of the room. Anytime a kid leaves the room, for whatever reason, it just needs to be recorded. And a great place to record it is on the seating chart. So if somebody needs to go to the bathroom, they'll need an escort, ideally a male with a male student, a female with a female student. Take them to the bathroom, bring them back, but just record that event. Make sure they don't have a phone or anything like that, or don't consult anybody when they're in the bathroom. Again, nobody can take anything out of the exam room. Students can't leave an exam during the first hour or the last 15 minutes. This will be apparent in the instructions, so you don't need to worry about it too much. And then finally, you have instructions. You have unstructured exams, which are basically exams where kids are not writing in the actual examination paper. They're writing it on their own lined paper, and that's all that will be submitted to IB. The English exam is a good example of this. You also have structured and semi-structured exams. A structured exam is one, like I said before, that has boxes where students write their answers. There are some, such as in science, that the entire exam is structured, where they write their answers in the examination book only. Like I said, though, if they have additions to the box, they can add paper if need be. Semi-structured are exams that require students to both write their answers in the examination paper itself, but also add additional stuff on lined paper that will be provided. And then finally, you have multiple choice. This only applies to science, and that's the easiest test to administer. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, you will not be required to do too much. Just active proctoring is all I ask. All this stuff down here, finishing the exam, will be taken care of by the lead proctor. So thank you for your time. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you are at your examination on time. We'll get you out of there as quickly as the students allow us.